The KISA Projects electric book cutting guillotine or paper cutter. KISA Projects is a home for entrepreneurs located here in Komamboga-Kumukaaga along Gayaza Road. Our company or offices are always open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So this is the cutting blade on the book cutting guillotine. This is the door where you can put or where you can keep some of the spare parts of the book cutting guillotine that comes with the machine. So we are going to get a power cable. This black one is a power cable. Then we are going to press it in the power cord at the sides of the machine. Let's first remove it from this wrapper. This is the power cable. So after getting off our power cable, let's press it into the power cord of the machine, that area. So you press our power cable. Then we connect it to the power source. So we still have to connect it to the power source here, and we switch on the power source. So after switching on the power source, this machine has two buttons. We first press on that button by pressing it up, then also press on this red button, so it gives us a red light. Then the power green light is also lighted down. So this machine looks like this. Let us learn how to use it now. So this is the machine. It has one blue button which has cut and another blue button which has cut still. The essence of them giving it two cut buttons is to prevent you from cutting your hands as you are cutting the books. This implies that whenever you're going to use this machine to cut the books, you have to use both hands to cut like this. You use both the hands to cut. So there is no chances of you forgetting one hand into the machine where the blade will pass and you end up cutting off your hand. So that's why they have two cut buttons. So this power button, this is not a button, this is just a kind of a screen. Whenever you press on the machine, the power button will give us a green light. Then this screen shows us the dimensions upon which the machine will be cutting the papers or the books, or you can keep on setting your dimension using these numbers. However, you can still do it manually by pressing this FF button, the one that pushes the pad the other end or upwards. When I press the FF button, that button is an arrow facing up, means that the pad will continue going inside the machine. However, you have this tool that prevents us from touching where the blade will pass, so we shall always use this tool to push the papers or the books either to go inside the machine. We press this button, then I use this tool to push the papers inside the machine. We're going to see all these things physically. So when I press this button, you see that the pad keeps on going the other side of the machine, or we can say upwards of the machine. It continues flowing inside the machine by pressing this button that has an arrow facing up. This button is named FF. However, I also have another button with an arrow facing down named FR. So that button named FR will pull the pad to come closer as the pad is pushing whatever we have put into the machine to be cut closely to us so that we can remove it. So you can press that one if you want to push inwards like that, or the other button if you want to press to push outwards. So that is the use of these two buttons and the use of that orange tool. So this orange tool shall need it. So if I get my papers, for instance, and I put them onto the machine to be cut just like this, so you align them very well. That is, for instance, if you're cutting papers. However, you can be cutting books depending on what you want, either to cut papers or trim papers or to trim books. So when I press the reset button, whenever I press the reset button, it will provide a light onto it, or a notification light that it is now on. See, now it has pressed a notification white light with a red line passing across the papers, meaning that the cutting blade will be passing in the area where the red light is. So when I cut, it means where the red line is passing, it means that is the part of the paper that will be cut off. However, if you're not interested in cutting off that paper, you can adjust by pressing this FF button, either to push inwards, use that tool to keep on pushing inwards, or you can do both, pressing the button and still pressing using the other tool to push inwards. So if you feel like you're contented by cutting that area, if you're not certain that whether what you're going to cut is the accurate one, still you can press the reset button to see whether that's the area that you want to remove off. If that is the area that you want to remove off, then you can go further by cutting. However, I don't want to waste my papers by cutting them in this way, so let me just cut them let me just divide them in 2 halves, so that I can use, after cutting them, I can use them for further office works instead of just spoiling them by cutting them like this. So I'll pull the papers by pressing this arrow that faces down, so the papers will come closely to me. Then I'll change my papers by tilting them like this. Still, since I want to cut them halfway, I'll press that FF button that looks upwards, until when the papers get to the marks I want, or the points I want, I can follow the digits, or I can even just press the digits. However, if I'm not certain with the digits that I need, I can do it myself by pressing the FF button or FR button until when I get the papers to the point that I want them to be. Hope you are seeing this and it is giving sense to you. So for instance, let me label them before I cut. For instance, if I want to cut off that area, let me just increase on the size, just like that. So for instance, if I want to cut off that area, I want to cut in between those papers, so I press the reset button. So you see that red line passing across the papers, means those papers are going to be cut from that area. So after pressing the reset button and it is on now, I use my 2 hands to do the cutting. I press the buttons, the 2 blue buttons, strongly, then it cuts. Simple. Now the papers are already cut and perfectly. You see, the edges are very fine. So this is the machine you need if at all you are doing commercial business in the art of book binding, or even if you have a stationery that deals with a lot of paperwork that needs to be trimmed, maybe to some instances. You can buy this machine readily available here at KISA Projects. However, we also have manual machines readily available here at our center. If you need a machine that doesn't cost much for you, so you can buy manual book cutting. Guillotine. Let's try it again, and we see how perfect and how easily this machine does the cutting. This machine is electrically driven, and they are readily available here at KISA Projects. So I press the reset button, then I do the cutting. Simple and easy. Now it is done. Fine. Cut and so fine. You can see where the red line passes, where the blade cuts from. So the papers are so fine. So I press this FR button to get off my papers, or if at all I'm cutting books, to get off the books that I'm cutting, or that the books that I have already cut. So let us give Josephine to give it a try. Now it is time for Madame Josephine to do it herself. Here she starts. She gets the papers. Hope she was following very well. She uses this tool to align the papers very well to the base pad. So you press the FF button if at all you want to pull the papers closer or inwards to the base pad. Use the pad to align them or to push them to the base pad inwards. Still on point. She pressed the reset button. However, on the machine you have some black tool. It's kind of a record on the machine. So this machine will not cut whenever it senses anything external on top of it. It could be your hand. So these people, they never wanted to make mistakes whereby the person using the machine can end up cutting him or herself. So the machine is now refusing to cut simply because Madame Josephine has forgot a record on top of the machine. So that's why even if she presses the cut button, the machine has refused to cut. So let us see if we remove the recorder and she tries again if the machine will do the cutting. Okay, now after removing the recorder, let us see if at all this time if you press the cut button, the machine will do the cut. We have to reset again. Then after resetting, you press the cut button, the top button. Simple and easy. Now the machine is cutting. Perfect. So whenever cutting your books and you feel like the machine is not responding, just know that there is something you have put on top of the machine that is external, not part of the machine. So the machine will not cut unless you remove it. So after removing it, you see that the machine has given us perfect edges. So we remove our papers. Yeah. So Madam Josephine has been a fastest learner. She has just got it right. So that is her first try. Or maybe give her a second chance to see whether she has perfectly got it right. So whenever you reset, it means that you are ready to cut. If you are not ready to cut, don't press the reset button. That red line means that the blade is ready to cut. So if you are not ready to cut, don't press the reset button. Let us give her a second trial. She puts back the papers. She aligns them. How does she want to cut them? Let us see. Okay, yeah, she wants to cut them in this way. So you align them very well. So after aligning them, you reset. The red line passes across the paper. That's the area we are going to cut from. Then you press the cut buttons and the blade flows down to cut the papers. Simple and easy. She has got it right. She's just a perfect learner. So you can also buy this machine. It is easy to use and even it comes with a user manual. And even after buying it here from KISA Projects, we can show you practically how to use it. However, if you're ordering it online, still we can show you through our online videos to show you how you can effectively use this machine. However, it comes with a pamphlet or with a user manual, a booklet that gives you instruction on how to effectively put this machine and use. This machine is already available here at KISA Projects. I remain your boy, Nathan Matov. Thank you for following KISA Projects. We are a lovely home for entrepreneurs. We can as well train you how to manufacture or how to bind books, what we call the art of book binding, at a fee of Ghana shillings 100,000 or $45. This is the machine. If you need one, they're already available here at KISA Projects. You reset means you are ready to cut. So now you can see if the blade is down and you want to put it up, you just press the reset button and still press the cut button. Still it goes up if you want to do further more cutting. However, this is what we have.